never fails. I can be in 2 seconds. I see my neighbor like so fast.
But nobody wants to sit with the kids?
Well, I'll sit there. I didn't think there was any seats.
Different instruments around the room. You will hear the box, the sand monster, the bees, a roadrunner, a jackrabbit, circles, squares, and triangles. And a few other surprises. We hope you enjoy our story. Once upon a time, in a dry, hot desert lived a bushy-tailed fox. He napped all day, curled up in a furry ball in a little hollow cactus near the river Rio Grande. Every evening, he woke with a yawn under stretched of his leg and while the brothers sleeping to the river's edge. As he walked along the desert trail, creatures called out to one another to warn of the approaching danger. The animals looked over in the desert to call down to their friends. But the fox was not interested in a bird for supper. Not yet. No, he wandered to the river's edge to admire himself. He would gaze down at the reflection of his bushy red tail, his fur himself and think how lovely he was. He was that the sun began to peek over the horizon before he had caught himself a proper meal. His growling tummy and the approaching day reminded the fox time for a meal, but it was growing light. His hunting time was nearly over, and the river owls had all flown away. Late again, sighed the handsome fox as he rubbed his fuzzy tummy. He turned and wandered quickly back to his cave to see what he could find. As he sniffed the bushes along the desert trail, he heard a rustling. If you are a little lizard, come out and play with me, for I am also a little lizard and new to this desert, called the sneaky fox. He was hungry for a tasty little lizard. Too late for you, cried the lizard from the top of a cactus, for it is almost morning and we can see you. You can't fool us in the morning like you can at night. The fox hung his head and hurried farther into the desert, deeper than he had ever gone. Before long, he heard a little buzz and smelled something sweeter than he had ever smelled. And listened and listened. His fine nose and sharp ears, which he had been admiring all night, led him into an old hollow cavern. It was ears which he had been admiring all night. It was buzzing a happy song that made him hum along, and the sweet smell was wonderful that he just had to reach in to feel what was inside. When he pulled out his paw, it was the stinky button followed him into the sand, and he rolled and rolled, and he stung and stung until not a bit of him showed that wasn't a red stain or a sandy mess. He stood to run, but the stinking button followed him everywhere he went. He ran in circles. He ran in squares. He even tried to run in triangles. The terrible sea monster running madly Joseph, followed by an angry fleet beast. She turned and ran away from the monster, but he followed her anyway. Did not know it was her friend calling to her house. He was sipping his first drink of the morning at the water's edge when he looked up to see a jackrabbit, which had clearly lost his mind, followed by a sand monster, followed by an angry sword beast, heading right towards him. He turned and ran away as fast as he could, but the jackrabbit, which desperately wanted help, ran after him. So there were a roadrunner, a jackrabbit, a sand monster, and a sword beast, running like a parade of men along the moonlit riverside. The great mountain lion, which had been constantly in his cave near the river, awoke to the terrible screams of the great animals and the angry fighting beasts. He stepped out of the cave in a terrible mood, only to see the trail followed by his many teeth running straight for him. When they had almost reached the cave, the mountain lion took a great breath and roared his loudest roar. The terrified roadrunner turned and ran straight into the river, followed by the jackrabbit and the sand monster. The bees watched the three disappear into the water, gave a last angry buzz, and flew back to the hive. After a great deal of splashing and sputtering, the three dragged themselves wet and exhausted in a shade at the building water. The great mountain lion was waiting for the three on the water's edge. He instantly recognized the veiling fox washing stand as one who spent his evening staring at himself in the water. Ah, it's you, the mountain lion called up the fox. What is the meaning of all this noise making me for my food? The little fox, jumping the terrible sand monster, told the story of the honey tree to the mountain lion, jackrabbit, and the road runner. The mountain lion listened carefully and took a breath and spoke. From now on, mountain lion, you will find yourself in early supper instead of admiring yourself in the water all night. And then we all will sleep and hunt and feast. Disney has caused us for proper service and service to ourselves. Next, our classes will perform the radiance. Native Americans use this dance as a way to beckon the rain to help with the crops. The first thing you will see us is rubbing our hands. This represents the mist. Next, you will hear snapping. This symbolizes the drizzle. Next, you will see us petting our thighs. This symbolizes the harder rains that usually follow. After that, you will see us stomping our feet. This represents the heavy downpour. Enjoy the dance. perform a ceremonial corn dance in the spring or summer to assure that the rains will come and fall and a harvest will be plentiful. We will guide you through our version of a ceremonial corn dance. The corn dance represents the Bible. Our farmer has out his hand in his corn seeds. Our 5 students follow behind the farmer as he hands those to represent the beginning of the corn. After a long day of planning, the farmer returns home and prays for the rain to come and water his freshly planted seeds. Our 5 students will dance around the corn seeds while the rattles to represent the rain. Can you hear the rain coming down on the farmer's corn seeds? As you can see, the corn seeds have begun to grow. The farmer would tend to his fields and would also pray for the sun to sunshine and rain and careful tending, the farmer is finally ready to harvest his crop. He carefully picks each piece of corn that he has so carefully grown. We hope you enjoyed our corn dance. The Native Americans believe that illnesses are caused by spirits who cast spells. To cure a person, a stand ritual is performed. Learning the stand ritual is hard. Everything must be memorized carefully. Performers of the stand ritual trickle small amounts of stand ritual painting until the entire design is complete. If the ceremony is done correctly, the sick person will get well. Once the stand painting ceremony is over, the painting is destroyed. Native American symbols. The Pueblo used these pictures and symbols as from the writing language. Now you can use these word walls to help you figure out what our pictographs on the bulletin board say. If you still can't figure it out, don't worry. We won't tell. It'll be our little secret.
Petroglyphs art designs are well known forms of Native American writing in the states of Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and Colorado. Prehistoric hunter-gatherer Native Americans began to decorate canyon walls, rock shelters, and boulders with petroglyphs several thousand years ago. Apaches and Pueblo Indians did it for many reasons, including decoration, magical, religious, and historical purposes. And as a part of hunting rituals, people used various Native American symbols and wrote short stories. Can you tell what story they're trying to tell?
Drums were used by Native Americans for several reasons. Mostly they were used in ceremonies. They were often called gathering drums because they were played at all gatherings. Native Americans would use the drums to help them with celebrations, dances, and storytelling. Drums usually led the Native Americans in their spiritual dances. The Pueblo believed that a spirit, the drum, the clouds, the trees, the animals, the corn, the rain, and the birds.
These are our rattles. We made them using paper towel rolls and beads. Each rattle is decorated with Native American symbols, pictographs, or a turtle shell design. The Pueblo used real turtle shells to make their ceremonial rattles. These were also only used by the men of the tribe. Children were taught how to use these rattles in rituals when they reached a certain age.
The Pueblo learned to make clay pottery from the people of New Mexico. Pottery was made by the women of the community. They made pottery by boiling narrow stripes in clay together. Finished cups were hardened by baking them in a small fire. Pottery made it easier for Pueblo people to store and cook food. Can you tell why they were called Pueblo pots? Our group features another Native American tribe. We found out a lot of interesting information about our tribe and then compared it to the Pueblo tribe. Above you will see our Venn diagrams and some illustrations. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us later. Due to many different factors, the houses of the Pueblo changed over time. The early Pueblo lived in caves and shelters because they were always on the move to gather food. When they began farming, they stayed in one place and built houses made from mud and wood. These houses were called pit houses and were round and built into the ground. Later they began building houses together that were square so they could share walls and use less building materials. Building them against close walls kept them warmer in the winter and kept the people safe from enemies. These cliff dwellers became the first apartment houses. They often had hundreds of rooms and could be 4 or 5 stories high. These houses are called pueblos. We made our pueblo using Since corn was such an important part of Native American life and was readily available, Pablo used the corn husk to make dolls. Come take a peek at how we use corn husks to create our dolls. The Pueblo people lived off the land by hunting and gathering seeds, nuts, berries, wild plants, and fruit. Finding and preparing food took a great deal of each day. The Native Americans were very good at using the resources of the land for food and making tools and utensils needed every day to survive. Women were responsible for preparing and cooking their food. The Pueblo learned how to grow corn from the people of Mexico. Corn became one of the most important foods eaten every day.
We're going to direct our attention over to John. John, you raise your hand. There we go.
Hi, John.
Have you been wondering why we are wearing these crowns on our heads? Well, I'll fill you in on another secret. These are our Native American headdresses. On each one, you will find our Native American names. Native Americans always had special naming ceremonies to name their boys and girls. Their names were sometimes given to them when they were older. Each name tells about a Americans made their clothing. They also used fibers and plants to make sandals, baskets, and here we used construction labor. We made some beautiful designs. Do you see a pattern? I wasn't supposed to write though.
All right, rattle it for Grandma. Cool.
Where we were.
Hey, look, come here. What's the movie here? So she has to go online.
You guys use the computer?
Yeah, we're going to put it